All right, my name is Cameron Ritchie. I work at Unions New South Wales with Kate as well as a communications officer, and I'm also a representative of the ACT Youth Committee, and so I'm here in that regard. One of the main things I do with my work is work for communications. It's mostly through social media, a lot of social media campaigning and building up activists through that way, as well as notifying people of issues. We generally use social media in conjunction with regular organising of union campaigns and getting people active and involved in that way, but the main aspect of social media that is really useful is the fact that it's more of a notifier. People don't find out whole lots of information on social media, but it's just a little piece of information, a little bit here and there. We saw that recently with the Equal Pay Dinner that Unions New South Wales hosted last Wednesday. One of the guest speakers was a childcare worker from the Independent Education Union, and she saw something on Facebook about her award at her workplace in childcare. And she was intrigued by that because the award said something that wasn't directly related to her workplace, but wasn't lining up with what she thought she was getting paid. She went and did some research, spoke to her co-workers, spoke to a union. Turns out she was getting underpaid, and she's now getting that all back paid. And that was just because of just one meme or one image that she saw on social media. And another huge, amazing aspect of social media in this regard is that it's where all young people are, essentially. It's a huge, everyone thinks of social media, they think of young people with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and that sort of thing as well. And that's the best way to try and engage with them, especially when we don't get to every work site, we don't get to every McDonald's or every Big W or wherever workers are, specifically young workers. However, engaging with them on social media is actually very handy. We can't just use social media though. Like, no one's ever seen a meme on Facebook and changed their vote. Like, it's not as simple as that. It's the beginning. It's where people see things, where people learn about the 100K degrees, or where they learn about maybe Medicare being cut, whether you buy into the stereotype that young people don't read newspapers. I read it every day, but probably something different. And it goes back to something that Kate was talking about in terms of young people, and in a huge, young people just, in terms of union activity, like, it's something that they may not have been asked. Back to the whole aspect of young people being apathetic. If they haven't been asked to join a union, there might not be a drive to. They might have heard about them on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, but if they haven't said, hey, would you like to join the union, maybe that's all that's stopping them. And so if you know young people and you work with young people or you live with young people and you ask them, why are you in a union, and if not, why not, maybe they'd be interested to know a bit more about that. I think it's also very important for young people to be part of the union. One of the main reasons is that they may not know their rights. See, young workers and mature workers have very, very similar problems at work. They have similar levels of casualisation, like the issues with penalty rates, and they want to know what the minimum wage is and things like that to make sure they're earning it. But mature workers, as opposed to younger workers, grew up in a different sort of generation where unionism was a lot stronger 20, 30 years ago, so people know about unions. They have co-workers that are in unions, they may be in a union themselves, whereas young people might just genuinely not be aware, and they might not know to ask questions about what is their rate of pay, and should they be getting pay slips, and how many hours that they should be working. And that's a big problem, because as a 15, 16, 17-year-old, you're intimidated. You're earning $7 or $8 an hour. You get told you only get 3 shifts a week, and if you ask, you're worried that if you ask for more, if you ask for more pay, you get the sack, because you just don't know your rights. You might think it's wrong, you might think it's unfair, but you don't know your rights, and that's a serious problem. And so that's what I try to do in terms of my job with social media campaigning, is to make sure people know what's fair and what's not fair, and that it's okay to ask these questions and things like that. Specifically, as I think Jason mentioned before about 7-Eleven, the workers, they were too afraid to do anything. They were told that they would get blacklisted and they would be sent back home, and so they couldn't stand up. And so the SDA, or the retail union, set up a hotline, and as well as a website so that they could go on there, they could talk anonymously, and they could ask questions to find out what their rate of pay is meant to be, and other aspects like that. So I guess just in conclusion, if you know young people, or if you live with young people and you don't know if they're in a union, just ask them. Say, are you in a union? Do you know what a union is? Because it might be as simple as that, as making sure that they get security at work.